How's it going? Don't bother telling me. I could care less. I got myself to worry about, and none of you are worried about me aside from me. So I don't care how you're doing, but you already knew that. Just remember, my lack of concern for your well being was in response to your lack of response for your lack of concern for my well being. My lack of concern for your well being stems from your lack of concern for my well being. So it is, in fact, on you that I do not care about how you're doing or your well being, and will never pretend to do so. You'll never form a parasocial relationship with me because I know that you are not worth humoring even in passing in conversation. I know there is no reason to try to respond in a cordial or conversational manner to the nonsense and lies that you type on a keyboard, and I do not. That's really the root cause of a lot of your resentment and hatred for me, is the fact that I will never humor you or speak as if it is a factual statement to say that you deserve to be responded to by anyone, even in a YouTube chat room. You should be ignored and ridiculed because you are vile people. And I'm talking to people like Incel IBL's chat. I'm talking to people like IBL's chat. You're the type of people who don't deserve kindness from society, and that's because you're predatory, satanic, Discord P. diddlers, no different than Tim Dooley and his ilk. You belong rightfully on the sex offender registry, which I hope those of you that have those inclinations end up on the sex offender registry where you belong. But I don't have faith in states or federal courts. I don't have faith in police municipalities to correctly uphold the law, federal or state. And that is because police municipalities have been ignorantly failing to protect people in regards to the predators readily lurking and committing crimes on the internet. And that is because police municipalities are full of atrocious, shameless, incompetent, and morally bankrupt bullies. That is what police departments, state and federal, are filled with. They're filled with incompetent bullies that should realistically be taken down a peg ego-wise and societal status-wise. Their legal protections that they receive as a result of being a police officer, the lack of liability, their protection from liability that they should face as a result of working in the profession that they've chosen to work in, that they were not obligated to work in. They don't have to work in that profession. They choose to work in that profession, and they want to have their cake and eat it too, in the sense that they want the power, they want the ability to be able to get away with legally being a bully, and they should not have reduced liability. They should be, because that is reduced accountability. They should not have reduced accountability because they do not even perform their duties properly. The service they offer is not the service that people think they offer when they hear the word police officer. And because they are not offering the service that is expected of them, they should not have the liability protections that people who think they are offering a different service than the one they are offering gave them. That is what should happen to police officers, in my opinion. Police officers should be held to the same standard that regular citizens are held to when it comes to the law, and they should be arrested as easily as regular citizens get arrested when they break the law. And the reason that this should be the case is because it is not the case as we speak. And as we speak, police officers are foul-mouthed bullies that do not have respect or common decency, and they are not even able to enforce the law. Police officers, as we speak, are unable to enforce the law, and they are instead foul-mouthed bullies that become police officers to have less accountability than the regular citizen when it comes to the court system. See, if you ask me, police officers should actually be held to a stricter legal standard than regular citizens. They should not have reduced accountability. They should, in fact, have increased accountability and scrutiny put on them, which is not the case. Everyone, it would seem common sense if you ask me that police officers should be held to higher standards than the average citizen, not lower standards legally than the average citizen. It would make sense for police officers to have lower accountability when it comes to the legal system. It would only make sense for police officers to have lower accountability than the average citizen as it is now if the legal system were a business. That's the only way it would make sense to reduce the liability that police officers face and the accountability that police officers should face. It only makes sense for things to be the way they are if the legal system were a business and not a government service. See, since the legal system allegedly is supposed to be a government service and not a private sector service, the police should in fact be held to a higher legal standard. They should in fact go to an entirely separate court system. If you ask me, the reason that there's gangs within California police departments, the reason there's gangs within California police departments is because California doesn't even hold its citizens to a high enough standard legally, let alone its police officers. And that's why you have organized criminal gangs within police departments, because it's not like the technology doesn't exist to have police officers under the same amount of mass surveillance and scrutiny that regular citizens are held to. The reason that police officers are not held to the same level of privacy invasion and legal standard as regular citizens is because police officers are nothing more than incompetent bullies that seek out the job of working for a corrupt legal system that is a business more so than a government service. The reason people seek out applying to become a police officer, going through training, and then going through the screening and hiring process required to become a police officer is because they are incompetent bullies that want to get paid to be held to a lesser legal standard where they are held less accountable than the regular citizen because they are incompetent bullies that seek power over people. They want to get paid to look down on and judge people. They want to get paid to be held to a lesser legal standard in court. And they want to get paid to fail to uphold the legal system whole time judging any and every person they are dispatched to enforce the law against, as if they were some judgmental stereotype of a devout Christian. Okay?